Abusia Ghana Mampani, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder, and Wabedu, Ghana Physicians and Surgeons conference hall na wɔbaeɛ na Ghana infrastructure plan wɔn mmerɛ na 2018 wɔwɔ aban mu wɔyɛɛ sɛ ɔbɛma mmɔden na ɔman Ghana yɛnya plan a yɛde to hɔ between 2018 to 2047 no yɛbɛtumi de plane ɔman Ghana ɛno ɛna wabɛdu a wɔbɛhyɛ mu kena na yɛatoa so na abusua projects ahodoɔ a ɛwɔ plan yi mu no nyɛ asɛm ketewa ma Ghana Black Star Stadium nyinaa ɛka ho a abusua dwumadi no ase no wɔn kyerɛkyerɛ mu ɛma nea ɛbɛkɔ so biara no wɔ bɛda no adi akyerɛ ha Ghana News TV so mede nna nase fa no bobu mɛsrɛ sɛ ne ndi kan waba ɔhwɛ me a na wasubscribe no wahyɛ de ama mɛsrɛ wɔn nso sɛ woama no ne ɔsɛn diska bɛfie a download the lemfi UK for ma bɛka ho bi mo download the lemfi na ɔsɛn the first 50 pounds a wɔn bɛma wo 10 pounds ɛde ahyɛ wo ho saa nso ɛna wɔ USA Canada na also send the first $100 a wɔn bɛma $20 ahyɛ wo ho saa nso ɛna wo a wɔ Europe no nso no send the first €100 a na wɔma €20 ahyɛ wo ho ɛno akyi nso no wɔn run promotion sonko sɛ efi ɛna kɔpem 31st of October no sika biara a wobɛsende a ɛboro $50 ana €50 ana £50 ɛkɔ soro biara no wɔbɛma 1% of that sika no ti so mo taa wachi de bomode ana fa sa kwanya ho na enjoy abusua yenkɔ na yentie na hwɛ Ghana mampani sɛ na adwumadi no kɔɛ ha Ghana News TV medin ɛn na ndase fa hwɛ bobo mesro sɛ ne ndedi kan aba hwɛ me a na wa subscribe na wa share de ama me na Ghana mampani we friendly bow mami work to no sɛ ne end your person ni dwafo no so fine chale je camera no je phone no na etwa picture no ma no oba nso a one Sharaf Mahama we are never been man the Niji politics on pa I don't know.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, kindly rise as we welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Cherish fearless honesty. Help us to resist oppressors. I will and die forever. Help us to resist oppressors. I will and die forever. And he's in the person of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of Ghana, to address us and officially launch the Ghana Infrastructure Plan. Let's rise to welcome the President.
Thank you. Kindly be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just two comments before I inflict my prepared speech on you. And the first is about one, prioritization, and two, allocating resources to what your actual priorities are. When we launched the big push, somebody asked, but where are you going to get money to finance the big push, $10 billion over 5 years. And yet this year we started by allocating almost 14 billion. And next year, the Minister of Finance has promised to allocate 30 billion to the big push. And this has succeeded by just reallocating resources from areas that we had gotten used to just allocating the resources, not spending them efficiently. And there were two things that we did when we came into government. We amended the Public Financial Management Act, and we introduced two things that would improve fiscal discipline. And the first was replacing the Fiscal Responsibility Act with the amendment of 2025, in which we made two important things. One, that will aim for a primary surplus, a surplus on the primary balance on commitment basis of 1.5% per annum. And then two, that we will cap our debt ceiling at 45% of GDP by 2034, I think. And just introducing that fiscal discipline, also establishing a Fiscal Responsibility Council that will penalize any infractions of the amendment, the PFME amendment. And then also giving the minister the authority to issue commencements for any commitment that any MDA was going to do. And suddenly, it creates additional resources that we are able to put into development of infrastructure. But also, it's important to cut the perennial waste associated with government expenditure. And that's why I want to thank the Chief Justice. We had a meeting only a few days in my office, and he has agreed to set up specialized courts to deal with the Auditor General's report so that we can fast-track the way to Nsawam for people who misappropriate government resources. And one example is exactly what Nimoy spoke about, that the staff of the hospital attended the person's funeral, and after that continued paying him for 26 months after attending his funeral. I mean, how is that possible? You know, so we need to take these seriously, and I believe that it will provide us with the resources. Can you imagine that with the kind of infrastructure we're doing, we are out of the international capital market. We're not borrowing $1 single from outside for the Big Push program. And so somebody asked me, says, oh, so when are you going to return to the international capital market? I said, oh, we're not in a hurry at all, because I never knew that you could survive without going to borrow for infrastructure. So far, we're doing good, and we'll continue to keep our foot on the pedal. Today, we gather not just for a launch, but to rekindle a vision, a journey that started over a decade ago when I had the honor as president to initiate the development of a long-term infrastructure plan for our beloved country. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan stands as a bold, forward-looking national blueprint, one that lays the foundation for building a resilient, inclusive, and future-ready Ghana. It defines the framework of our collective ambition, a 30-year strategic plan that guides how we design, fund, and implement infrastructure to improve lives and to support growth. But as we look ahead, we must also look back. For every renewal starts with reflection. 60 years ago, as the chairman of the NDPC told you, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah unveiled Ghana's first comprehensive development blueprint, which was the 7-year development plan and was supposed to take us from 1963 to 1970. He recognized that infrastructure was the foundation of a modern, industrialized, and self-reliant nation. He built roads, railways, schools, and energy systems to connect our people and unlock Ghana's productive potential. That vision was bold, it was patriotic and transformative, and it remains timeless even today. Yet 60 years on, we must humbly ask ourselves, how far have we progressed in fulfilling it. The 2024 National Annual Progress Report by the NDPC revealed over 70 billion in cost overruns across 18,000 capital projects, with many delayed or abandoned. This sobering statistics reflects a painful truth that despite our ambition, our infrastructure delivery has often been fragmented, politicized, and inefficient. We inherited Nkrumah's dream, but we have yet to fulfill its promise. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan makes a strategic reset. This new approach aligns our infrastructure development with our government's big push agenda, the African Union's Agenda 2063, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan introduces spatial planning models that promote balanced regional development and equitable access to opportunities. And this is what Professor Nimo was talking about. That you cannot, Doctor, I promoted you to Professor, sorry. GTech will come after you if I don't correct it. You cannot progress as a nation when you have geographical imbalance in economic development. And so setting up SADA as a special vehicle to accelerate development of the North was strategic. Unfortunately, a new government comes, shuts down SADA, and creates 3 broad development authorities, Coastal, Middle Belt, Northern, which really have done nothing, absolutely no impact. And so we must stop that geographical imbalance because every child finishing senior high school in the North, after a certain point in time, no economic opportunities, no employment opportunities, everybody is headed towards Accra. And that's what he said. It just shows graphically what the imbalance is. Every industry is in Accra. All foreign direct investment is coming into Accra. Incentives that have been given to rebalance development have not been very effective. And we must find a way of making them more effective. And that's why we are suggesting an agro-industrial park in the northern part of the country, where we redirect some of the foreign investors who want to invest and give them the necessary incentives instead of settling in Accra to move up to the north to create jobs so that the young people can have opportunities there and not drift down to the south. The next is to develop multi-sectoral linkages to ensure that infrastructure supports agriculture, industry, education, and health. To develop legal and institutional reforms that enhance continuity across governments, ending the cycle of project abandonment. That's after any government leaves, successive governments don't want to continue the projects that they started so that they can begin their own projects. Yesterday I went to Western Region, and 2 of the projects I visited were projects that were advanced under the previous government. And so I went to assure the people of the Western Region that, look, we're going to continue and finish these projects so that we can properly utilize taxpayers' money. Our goal is straightforward yet transformative: to move from scattered, politically motivated projects to unified, long-term investments that generate jobs, unlock value, and foster prosperity. This government's Big Push initiative is the first installment of this program. It operationalizes the Ghana Infrastructure Plan through deliberate high-impact investments that will, 1, complete abandoned and delayed projects in accordance with Article 35, Clause 7 of the 1992 Constitution, which mandates every government to continue and execute projects and programs that were commenced by previous governments. This is just what I was talking about. To revitalize the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, that's GIF, to finance projects that are self-sustaining and commercially viable. To generate thousands of quality jobs for young people through public works and local contracting. To strengthen institutional capacity for project preparation, monitoring, and evaluation. The Big Push is not about spending more, it is about spending wisely. Every CD must be guided by the Ghana Infrastructure Plan's priority program, ensuring value for money, regional balance, and long-term impact. To build better, we must govern better. Infrastructural governance, the systems, laws, and institutions that determine how projects are conceived, financed, and executed must be strengthened. Good governance guarantees that projects are selected on merit, carried out transparently, and are maintained across political transitions. When infrastructure governance is weak, countries lose billions. When it is robust, every project acts as a driver for growth. We must therefore depoliticize infrastructure so that roads, bridges, and hospitals will serve as symbols of national progress and not partisan rivalry. Allow me to highlight these three strategic initiatives that exemplify this new approach. One, the Green Digital City, which I announced last year, and I re-emphasized again during my trip to China, is a 20-year transformation hub spanning the Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions. It will combine sustainable urban design, renewable energy, and digital innovation to attract global investors and talents. The expansion of the water systems in Ho, Tamale, Sogakope, and Hohoi to ensure clean and fair access to water. The strategic road and transport corridors to enhance national connectivity, boost trade, and ease urban congestion. These projects are not isolated interventions, they are interconnected investments within a unified national framework. And each of them helps to achieve spatial equity, support industrial growth, and encourage climate-smart development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Infrastructure Plan is more than a policy document. It is a national covenant. It requires all of us across the political divide, public institutions, civil society organizations, and generations to dedicate ourselves to a shared vision of progress. I therefore call on First Parliament to enact the enabling laws, enforce fiscal discipline, and oversee to safeguard this vision.
What I say, this is gungulum, 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 gung. This is Ghana News TV. The time is 6 o'clock. Let me follow. Ghana.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha. You slam fight. Say ye fear wo pese won tono. You slam fight. E dan ya na say japade a wani da so a pese oto Africa ha no. You slam fight. So wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no Africa ha. You slam fight. Sanso e na say uti obi school fees ama no a. You slam fight. Nyenti a make cancel lem fight ama on say utimi send this car e fa lem fight so a e ma ni begu bank account me sanso e na timi begu mobile money account me. Eno achi nso no de bia lem fight e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya. Lem fight e secured. Na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no ne nsa aka. Lem fight wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal, and France. What the lem fight send this car untu ahwe bomodin dey use me code NEWS news na say any day they can register or lem fight so a unya bonus sanso and how use chance so a ye wo bonuses ahodo a ye dey man.
I urge the ministries, departments, and agencies to align their sector plans with the Ghana Infrastructure Plan and ensure continuity in project delivery. To the private sector, I urge you to invest boldly and build partnerships in infrastructure, logistics, and digital transformation. To civil society and academia and the media, I urge you to fulfill your roles in promoting transparency, accountability, and citizen participation. And to our development partners, I urge you to collaborate in blended finance, capacity building, and technology transfer. And finally, to the Ghanaian people, our citizens, I urge you to hold us accountable, to share ideas, and support this collective mission with patience and patriotism. Before I conclude, I'm pleased to announce a national competition in collaboration with the NDPC for the best artistic interpretation of the cover design for the Ghana Vision 2057. The Ghana Vision 2057 is a roadmap for economic transformation and shared prosperity. So this competition encourages our youth to envision the Ghana of the future, a nation of innovation, of dignity, and shared prosperity. This competition will be advertised, and I encourage all our young people to join in the competition. The prizes are attractive. Maybe I might also join. The first prize is 100,000 cool Ghanaian cedis. And the second prize is 75,000 cedis. And the third prize is 50,000 cedis. So let us make this more than just a competition or a contest. Let it be an act of civic imagination. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan was initially completed in 2016 and it was revised in 2019, but it was shelved and left to gather dust for years. Today, we reaffirm its position as the essential framework for national transformation. It is therefore with great pride that I officially launched the Ghana Infrastructure Plan, not as a new idea, but as a renewed commitment to the promise of a sustainable and inclusive infrastructure development for all Ghanaians. Fellow Ghanaians, Dr. Nkrumah gave us the blueprint. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan provides us with the tools, and the big push will deliver the results. Let us not just build roads and bridges, but a Ghana that works for everyone. A Ghana where vision meets discipline and where continuity, transparency, and innovation illuminates the path to our shared future. On this note, it is my privilege and honor to declare the Ghana Infrastructure Plan duly launched. May this plan guide our footsteps, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha usulemfai say ye fear wo pese wo nto no usulemfai edan anansa japade a wani da so a wo pese oto wa Africa ha no usulemfai say wo send this sika amodofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha usulemfai sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees amano a usulemfai nyenti amekanfo lemfai ama one say utimi send this sika e fa lemfai so a e ma ne begu bank account mu sanso e na timi begu mobile money account mu eno achi nso no de bia lemfai e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya lemfai e secured na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send amano no ne nsaka lemfai wo USA Canada UK Italy Germany Ireland Netherlands Spain Belgium Portugal and France what the lemfai send this car untu ahwe bomodia na use me code NEWS news na say ene any day di kan o register o lemfai so a unya o bonus sanso na use chen so a ye wo bonuses ahodo a ye de ma
menu makwekwe sa sempa kania se menam na meti asempa no ma mo amane a na ma no keka me anyam bia what ANS Trading Agency Limited nka se wo ka se door to door for no de na e watwa e sense obi ne wa wo se wo wo sa door to door business nim wo nneoma wo UK a wo de ko Ghana ana se Germany a wo de ko Ghana 3 to 5 weeks e be kwa kodu nipa ne punu anu se try na de mo dem sronko wo se adwuma de we mu ne se wo mo bo no e da form se boko ANS Trading Agency Limited e wo air freight special service and nneoma ne ye de be fa plane entintempa na akwa Obetima for South Africa, we also the new free Ghana, Aqua UK, and Germany. FAGG them, which are also in a year, I mean drop a bomb. ANS Trading Agency Limited pair, and a 40-footer, any 20-footer container. FA UK, Edico Ghana, and Germany, Edico Ghana. Oma Manuel Mayamere, import to, export to, them there for you. Omo Ghana Namani, 0249 170 423. UK has over Freya 0790 802 7527. Germany 09173 771 2733. Ubenya ANS Trading Agency Limited. Our West Croydon ANS Trading Agency Limited. Quantum Brantem. Wana beboya baso. Maybe next time in your fill up from the bebro.